Armstrong High tonight. Robbinsdale Armstrong takes on Irondale in girls lacrosse. I'm Steve Thompson along with Dan Ficken. And Dan, a couple of teams tonight that would love to get a victory.
Well, they're both 0-5 in the conference, so something's got to break loose today. But both have been kind of struggling, and they're trying to bring their games together. Irondale's a little young, lost a lot of people from last year. Armstrong trying to get things going with their returning scores. They've got 3 of the 4 coming back, and are trying to get into a flow.
I saw Armstrong play at Champlin Park on Monday night, and they played a good first half, and then things fell apart a little bit in the second half, and the Rebels pulled away.
Yeah, well, Champlin Park's got a pretty good program, too, and, Armstrong right now is finding themselves, but we got to remember that Armstrong, looking at them, so they've played the top 4 teams in the conference so far, and they played Blake. The state champ, defending state champ. So let's see what they do against these lower teams. Something like the Irondale, see how they get some momentum going.
Yeah, so a big opportunity for Armstrong at home tonight, and the weather this spring has been up and down, but it looks good tonight.
Boy, sure. It rained about a couple weeks ago, and it was ugly, and we've been real fortunate to have some good games here, and weather's perfect for lacrosse. Looking for a good game.
And turf's a big advantage up at Champlin Park. We saw them play on the real stuff, and here early this spring, the field's really bumpy, but on a turf field, the fake stuff, it's a big advantage in lacrosse.
Oh, it really is. The bounces are true, especially in ground balls. And ground balls are so key, especially in the girls' game, too. And they're moving forward. Their passing and catching is huge. When they're stomping around and losing their footing, it's really hard to maintain any kind of momentum and flow. And a field like this, and they're a miracle, thank you for having them. It really makes the game a whole lot better.
Yeah, and the only spots in the Northwest Suburban that don't have turf are those District 11 schools, so I'm sure the girls are glad to be back on the artificial turf for the game tonight. It is Irondale and Robbinsdale Armstrong tonight here on the CCX.
What makes your community feel like home? Is it knowing what's happening in your neighborhood, or when people know your name? Connections make us a community. For more than 30 years, Northwest Community Television has connected citizens, neighbors, even sports fans through video. As life gets busier than ever, we will still offer you a connected community experience through CCX Media, so you can stay connected to the place you call home.
Most of my family, they never graduated high school or even let alone go to college, so I'm trying to break that barrier. Every day after work, went straight to school, studied hard, and it paid off. I could not have done it alone. I see the future is really bright for me. The high school diploma is just added to the confidence, and now I feel unstoppable.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Good evening and welcome to Robbinsdale Armstrong tonight. Northwest Suburban Girls Lacrosse. The sun is out. Great sign. It is Armstrong and the Irondale Knights. A couple of teams looking for a victory. Steve Thompson along with Dan Ficken. And Dan, great weather for lacrosse. Big smiles on all the girls' faces.
Well, you couldn't ask for better than that. I'll tell you, they've probably played in some rainstorms and some snow too during the course of their careers and stuff. But this is a great day for it, and I think both teams need it. They want to have the weather on their side as they take on each other tonight.
Yeah, and I know Armstrong played Monday night up at Champlin Park, and it was a miserable night for lacrosse. It was a sloppy field. There was a driving wind. Fortunately, in time for the varsity game, the rain let up a little bit, but it was still a chilly night, and I'm sure these girls finally getting warmed up and looking forward to tonight's action. First, the Armstrong goalie, Maddie Koss, played well in the first half, struggled a little bit as the Rebels dominated the Falcons in the second half, but, Maddie's done a good job.
Yeah, she's been a returner now, and she's played every single game for the Falcons. Coach said she's the one they're going to stick with right now. She's played well.
And the other goaltender tonight, of course, for the Irondale Knights, Alexis Olson, 1-5. She's played all the games this year for the Knights. And her goals against pretty good, averaging under 10 goals a game. And in lacrosse, that'll give you a chance.
Yeah, and Coach France said that she was really happy with that, and she's actually got her save percentage up above 60 now. So their defense has been good. It's their offensive flow that they're going to be looking at tonight. It's been a little sloppy, not a lot of focus on it. So that's what Irondale will focus on tonight.
Off the opening face-off, here comes Armstrong. They get it in, and of course, one of the people to watch, Olivia Heck, their leading scorer, and Heck has it on the near, or excuse me, it's Van Heest on the near side of the field, but keep an eye on number 18, Olivia Heck, good player. Armstrong gets it into the scoring zone, and just like that, gets a quick goal, and Maggie Hansen on the score sheet right out of the gate.
Well, some good rotation, good reverse movement there as they move the ball a little bit, but just good movement by Maggie Hansen there. She gets one in, and look at here, she'll make a quick move backwards, gets open, they overplayed, and should have kept her bracketed, but right there she breaks the bracket and goes right in tight on Olson, and that's really tough for Angie to make a save when they're in that tight.
So right out of the gate, 27 seconds in to the game tonight, Armstrong, and that's what they wanted, is they try and get that first win of the year, Dan.
They're somewhat disappointed, but they've been optimistic over the past 3 games. They put up 9 goals against Blake, who's just an outstanding team, and that's a record for them. They've never put that many up, so they're thinking they're starting to come down the hill and play better.
Haley Hansen on the charge, had it stick checked away by Irondale and Megan Light, and now we've got a whistle, and it looks like
a halo violation. Got the stick up into the 9-inch area around the head.
No helmets in the girls' game, of course, and they watch that very carefully. And, of course, when a player is taking a shot, they've got to be very careful that they're under control as well. Here's Armstrong again. This is Mia Hansen. Hansen gives it up. Now they get it to the outside. Now right out on top in a good spot. As Irondale tries to slow down the attack. Haley Hansen with it. They're going to pass it around on the perimeter as they work the right side. Now goal line extended. This is the goal scorer, Maggie Hansen. She gets it out into the middle. And now the ball is down. And Irondale trying to get control. They haven't crossed the center of the field, and here they come. Here come the Knights. Avery Burbank with it. She gets it ahead. Once again, ball down on the field. Bounces around and picked up by Armstrong. And that's Simasek. And she's going to try and get it ahead, and does.
Nice pickup and a nice outlet pass into the middle as they break out. Good play by the Falcons. That's about as smooth as you can get, Steve.
There's Whiteneck. And gets it inside, and the leading goal scorer, Olivia Heck, gets her first goal of the game. She had a very good game against the Rebels, and the Rebels defensively were all over her up at Champlain Park, but Heck gets on the board right away.
She didn't mess around. She's got over 20 points for him. She's one of the returners, returning scores in the top 3. You just see she's all by herself. I mean, that basically picks them up. Good pass right here, though. When the slide came, she saw Hector was wide open and got it to her. Came in from the side and just in all alone on Olson and giving the Falcons a 2-goal lead here.
Yeah, and the goalie's got no chance there.
Oh, God.
You know, every now and then a goalie will get a stick on it, but that's hanging the goalie out to dry. Good move by Heck. 2-0 Armstrong early on, the kind of start they were hoping for after going out of the gate 0-5 this season. And we're back in the middle of the field. This is so important in lacrosse. Boys or girls game, the face-off is so important in this game.
It's so key. I mean, I've watched teams down 7 goals come back and win a game by 7 goals.
And here comes Irondale. They get it ahead, but it goes right in on the goaltender. And Maddie Koss all over it. And now Koss trying to decide, and she's going to come up the middle. And a nice pass ahead there.
Here we go.
The Carpenter.
And the difference between the two teams right now, Steve, is Armstrong is making their passes and catching them and winning ground balls, and Irondale isn't. It's just that simple.
Carpentier gets it in front of the net, doesn't take the shot. And that was good defense there by the Irondale Knights, and Lindsay McConnell to block her way. And now it's Haley Hansen. Hansen with it, sets up outside right, now to the goal line extended. As they make a move inside, Maggie Hansen, first goal of the game for the Falcons, goes back to the outside. Whitenack with it. And now comes to the top. And trying to drive there is Van Heest. And Van Heest sets up. Now they go behind the net. And let's see what the Falcons do behind the net. Trying to make a charge in front is Heck. Heck's turned away. A good job there. Yes. Once again by Irondale. McConnell again defensively turns her away.
And you started to see some cutters now coming through now when they were behind, cutting through the kind of the slot area, if you want to call it, for better or for worse. And
nice job by Heck to duck inside of the defender. And then we have a whistle, and we're going to see what's going to happen here. But I would assume Armstrong's going to hang on.
Yeah, they'll get it. It'll be a free position there, so it'll be from the side. Heck will get the ball.
And she really made a good move there, just spinning under the defender and getting right at the goaltender. Let's see what she does. Makes a charge in, gets a shot off. It's blocked there by the goaltender, Olsen.
Olsen getting a little bit back in her face a little bit. Got a nice save, got her stick up, her basket up, and did a nice job there.
Well, let's see what develops here. Maggie Hansen spends a lot of time behind the net. And now here comes Irondale. And they've got the ball. And they're going to get it ahead. And there's a Ms. pass that sends the ball down and out of play. And this is going to be Armstrong. So they've had a lot of trouble getting organized so far tonight.
They really have. That outlet pass has been real trouble for them. And they lose it and they can't gain it back again. And it was a real interesting breakout where Olsen put it down on the ground in the crease. And the player came through and picked it up. I like that. Etc. That way there is a pass, but Irondale's really, they got to get the fundamentals focused on and work if they're going to make a comeback here. So right now they're in a little bit of disarray.
We saw a moment ago Caitlin Bishop, Armstrong Falcon, the head coach. He's got to be pleased with what's going on here. Zimisek with it. Over to the left side. Here's Cole. Cole makes a move to the middle. Or excuse me, that's Haley Hansen. Hansen off on the right side, gives it up. On the charge inside for Armstrong here. And now behind the net, here's Heck. Always so dangerous. Goes across beautifully to Hansen. What a two-person play there. Heck over to Maggie Hansen in a goal.
A good shot of Coach Bishop there. She's real pleased with that. You know, Heck with the reputation. Everybody knows she's the leading scorer in the team. But look at her. Just draws three people to her and then makes the nice pass across to the open player and just puts it away real easily here. Nice play. That was all Heck.
Game comes at 20:47, just not even 5 minutes into the game. Now we got a timeout on the field. I believe Wendy Franz, Irondale head coach, took a timeout to talk things over. By the way, his second goal of the game for Maggie Hansen. The assist there to Olivia Heck. She's also got a goal. So they've been the dynamic duo. And it's so important to have two players that can really handle the ball around the net and work together well, Dan.
Oh, absolutely. And again, they were two of the returning scorers for him. And I had a nice chat with Wendy Franz down there too. And you know, she's really working along with the kids. She's liked the way they play defense, but I don't think they've seen one as good as this one, and or an offense as good as this one. But again, she said they got to focus on the fundamentals, and I think that's what she's settling them down to do. And her assistant coach there, you know, catch the ball, pass the ball, don't run into a double team, get the ball out before you get stuck. So we'll see if she makes that adjustment here.
I'm seeing a couple.
But I like the way that the Armstrong, the leading scorers, have stepped up. I mean, if you're going to start winning some games, your scorers got to step up to the plate here, and they certainly have. We haven't seen their third leading scorer yet. You know, my lad, Chimlin Silk. I thought I'd take a shot at it, Steve.
Yeah, good job
on that. So we'll see what happens, and hopefully Irondale can turn this around and start getting some shots on net.
Ready?
And of course, there we are in the Armstrong huddle. And they've got to be thrilled with this start. They've had some ups and downs, but you look at Armstrong's season this year, and I talked about it on Monday night when I was over at the Champlain Park game. They got beat by Anoka 7-6. They lose to a very good Blaine team 8-6. They fall to Coon Rapids 8-7. Then, as you pointed out at the top today, they lose to Blake 20-9, but that is a very, very good program with elite players. And then they played the Rebels tough in the first half before falling 15-6. So there are some things to build on, particularly early in the year, playing Blaine to a 2-goal game.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, Coach Fisher was not happy with that Anoka game. They had some fouls, and a couple players weren't playing that they needed, and so she kind of took that one as a giveaway, could make her record a little better, but now's the point where they got to start making hay. They got to be aggressive. They got to go after it. Now, they played the top teams in the league. They got to make hay with the middle and the lower teams in the league.
All right, here comes Irondale down 3-0. They can't handle the ball there. A turnover. Emily Manning couldn't handle it. And now we've got, once again, the ball down. And here comes Armstrong.
Okay, a stick check toward the body, which is why that ball got turned over.
Lauren Price gets it ahead nicely. Good pass there. Anna Cole. And Cole's going to carry it over to the center of the field. Armstrong has dominated play so far. We're not quite 5 minutes into tonight's game. We've seen some sun, some blue skies overhead here at Armstrong High. And now they get it behind the net and setting it up. Olivia Heck, she's got a goal and an assist in this game. Of course, Maggie Hansen, 2 goals in the game here for the Falcons as they try and get inside. Good defense there by Irondale as they're trying to tighten up things and not allow them to get into the middle in front of the goaltender.
Well, we'll see if Armstrong can offset that. Now, they're starting to put more cutters through the middle there, which they weren't doing earlier. There was basically, dodge moves or a 2-on-1 play.
Mia Hansen skipped one over the net, went over the goaltender, Lexi Olsen. Let's see what Armstrong can do here. Maggie Hansen right in front, had it poked away, but that's going to be a foul, and Armstrong's going to get it in tight.
Yeah, there was a reach on that check. If she had been even with her rather than behind her, that would have been a legal check, but she was about a step behind, and you can't reach out and make that play. See how she's doing that?
Yeah, and you can get in on the stick in the girls' game. That's okay. But there we had a shot right on goal. It's still down. There's a scramble for it. Who's going to come out of there? And now the official whistles things down, and I think Armstrong's going to hang on.
Well, we've got to mention, too, nice save by Olsen there.
Yeah,
she really held her ground real nice there. That was an in-tight shot.
Yeah, and she hasn't had too much help inside. She's been hung out to dry a couple of times where defenders let her down, and some in-tight shots on the goals by Hansen and Heck in this game.
Well, that was an unusual formation. I don't think I've seen that before, Steve. Usually somebody's behind, and everybody was still inside the 12-meter mark, which is unusual.
Haley Hansen with it. As she works to the outside, comes across to the middle, now making a move inside, Shamlinson. And now we got the ball down again, and another whistle. 19:03 and counting, 3-0 Armstrong. And what turned out to be a lovely evening. There was a threat of thunderstorms early in the day, but very pleasant here tonight. And they get it right in the middle, and Shamlinson knocks it home. Boy, she just took it there and rifled it by the goaltender.
He who hesitates is lost, or should I say she who hesitates is lost. And the third leading scorer for the Falcons is on the board. So they're all announcing themselves. They're all stepping up to the plate and probably opening up a new end of their season here. So it's good to see her get herself unfettered, so to speak, and put the ball in the net for the Falcons here. They need to see that.
And a sophomore, and that's important. And Olivia Heck, just a junior. Maggie Hansen, who has a couple of goals tonight, is a senior, but Shamlin's a sophomore. Very bright future for Armstrong Lacrosse.
Well, they got 13 seniors and juniors on the team, Steve, but most of them are juniors. I think there's only 5 seniors really playing on the team.
And this league continues to get better and better. There's a lot of good teams at the top. Here comes Armstrong again out of the faceoff, right down the middle, and another goal just like that. Haley Hansen took it pretty much from the center of the field right in on the goaltender, and you got to feel right now for Lexi Olsen. She's getting a barrage.
Nobody even really stepped up to the plate at all to stop the midfielder coming in, Haley Hansen, and got a free avenue in there. They just got to tighten up, and even to the point of if you even take a little penalty, Steve, just stop the momentum, get it stopped. you may give them a free position, but at least, you're not letting them walk right in on her.
Well, and Dan, it's so true in all sports. As you look at Irondale's head coach, Wendy France, who's seen her team fall behind 5-0. Big key is stop the ball. It's true in hoops. You stop the puck when a player's trying to advance, and here in lacrosse, you've got to stop the ball. You've got to stop the person with the ball and slow them up and make them make a decision.
Exactly. And one of the things that I like about girls lacrosse, I'd love to see them do physical play, but they're not gonna. But it's like basketball. If you as a defender establish position, the offensive player cannot run into you. They cannot. Once you're in that spot, you own it, and make them change direction, just like you said, Steve. Exactly. That's how exactly you should play it.
Lauren Price has it. She gets it ahead very nicely, and here comes Armstrong again, up 5-0. They get into the scoring zone right in front. We've got a whistle, and we're going to see what's going to happen here, but I would assume Armstrong's going to hang on. Quite a charge by Lizzie Van Heest.
Yeah, I'll have to see where that stick ended up there on the Irondale defender, but better defense that time. They made her change direction. She had to keep coming across. She couldn't go right in on the goalie.
Here's Van Heest trying to get a goal here. Gives it upside of the net. Nice pass and a goal. And that was a beautiful feed from Van Heest down low to Olivia Heck. She's got her second goal of the game. And Armstrong just dominating up 6-0.
Yeah, right now Irondale doesn't have any answers for the top attacks and middies for Armstrong here. Just a good play, and the only thing I would tell Olivia Olsen is just know where she is, know where Heck is, and just go at her. Go right at her. Get the basket out in front and just go right at her and be aggressive on her and hopefully disrupt her throw. But this is Alexis's first year as a goalie on the varsity end, so it's something she'll learn, and this is going to be a learning year for the Knights.
Yeah, and it is a big challenge to be a goaltender because they're always changing angles. Skip it in, go up high. I mean, it is a big challenge for a goaltender in lacrosse. The good news is playing on turf, you can anticipate those hops a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely, and they'll go true. And the other part of this is get your body in the way. When I'm teaching goaltenders, it's they want to use that basket. That basket's big, it's cool. No, but you got to get your body, move it with your basket. So if it does go past the basket, your body's in the way.
There's Hecht again right in front, and she's got another goal. She's got 3 in the game. She just went right in front and pulled the trigger, went up high. She has 3 to lead the Falcons, and it's now 7-0 Armstrong. Wow.
Oh, boy. Well, at the rate she's going right now, she'll definitely be an All-American scoring right now, by gosh. But nice move. She just knows what to do. Change the direction. Switch is good. You said it earlier, too, Steph, how good she is at moving to the side, moving, diagonally away from where the check's coming from and getting herself an open shot. And she did it very well that time.
How big of an advantage, Dan, is it with her length? She's a taller girl, long arms. I mean, she really uses that to her advantage well.
Huge. And when she gets that stick up, you ain't getting to it, and you can't get your stick up there to do it, and then she's free to move anywhere she wants to with that. Plus the fact she can change, like you said, the trajectory of the ball. She's throwing it straight in right now, but she probably more deadly on an up-down shot that bounces down because, I mean, that's so hard to read from somebody that tall.
All right, Armstrong has it back. Irondale has had absolutely no possession time so far in this game, and it's been all Falcons. And you look at their season, we talked about it at the top. They haven't won. They've been in some close games. And as you pointed out, Dan, they played very good teams so far, and that's got them ready tonight, and they're playing well.
Yeah, every team they played got at least 4 wins.
Here comes Armstrong back to the center of the field, and they get it on the move. They've been moving it really well. Here's Maggie Hansen, first goal of the game, has 2 on the night, and a beautiful assist to Olivia Heck. She moves in on the right side. We're going to flip it a little bit further out to Haley Hansen. And then Maggie's going to get it back. They get it out in front, and another goal there, left wide open. Who else? Olivia Heck. She's got 4 goals here in the first 8+ minutes of this game. She is just on fire, and the Knights, they're having all sorts of trouble with Olivia Heck.
I just love the fact that, that Armstrong's moving the ball so well, and we get a chance to look at Olivia Hector now. Just watch her. She's watching those plays coming. Now watch her rotate. Watch her rotate. She finds where the open slot is and gets it in before that double team comes, and that's all they need. But here's what they're doing. They're passing and catching, and they're doing it on the move. So you can send a double team, and they're already out of the situation before you can come in there and get after it, etc. So they're doing that exceptionally well.
Yeah, that's just a catch and shoot. She did not have it long before she pulled the trigger. And, of course, the goaltender, Lexi Olsen for Irondale, struggling. Let's see if Irondale can get anything going down. And they're down big, 8-0 early. Plenty of time in this game tonight to try and get something going. And now I would assume, Dan, that Armstrong can be a little bit more aggressive defensively and maybe take some chances because they have that 8-goal cushion.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. They should. And you can see right now how the defender stepped right into the play, which you might not do based on a penalty situation. Look, they just turned it around. Now they're getting the ball based on that aggressive action.
All right, let's see if Armstrong can quickly move down the field, and they've done it all night tonight. And here comes Haley Hansen. Hansen's had a solid game. Tries to get it into the middle. Ball gets down on the field. Let's see who gets to it first. And there's still a scramble over there. And let's see who finally picks it up. And there it is, Armstrong. They've been able to get to all those loose balls tonight and pick those up and have moved the ball beautifully. Here's Heck, side of the net. Look out. Now they get it behind the net. Maggie Hansen right out in front. Nice feed, and Hansen.
What a great move that was. Maggie Hansen coming around, and all of a sudden the Jets turned on, and she just turned that corner and beat every single night around the corner to get a wide open shot. Watch this. Look at her motor. Bang. And then she goes high-low on that shot and bounces it in. Very nice play. Very heads-up play.
Hansen's got her third of the game. That's a thing of beauty. And now it's 9-0, and I don't know if anybody saw this coming.
Well, I kind of looking at the schedule and stuff and seeing who they play can tell you a lot. You can't sometimes go by schedule. You and I both know that. Yep. What did the Vikings start last year?
Yeah, 5-0. Didn't turn out too well.
No, little 8-8 action. So, but Irondale right now, just take your time, move the ball around, be aware, and just get some flow, get some movement. Let people touch the ball that haven't touched the ball yet, and don't walk into a bad situation.
Here's Burbank. Yeah, Burbank's got it right now as they try and get set up and see what they can do and get anything going here, down 9-1, and we've got a whistle. And I would assume here Irondale's going to hang on to it. You know, some sort of defensive violation. I don't know what you saw, Dan, but yeah.
One player was in that 12-meter arc too long. You can only be in there for 3 seconds. You got to keep moving through.
There's a shot from outside, skips over the goaltender and out of play, and Irondale's going to hang on. Let's see what the Knights can do. Here's Manning behind the net, trying to get it in front. Manning trying to come out of there, comes to the near side. Here's Burbank. Burbank goes out in front, tries to get it back down low, and Irondale's going to hang on. This is probably a good strategy right now.
Yes.
Set up, be patient, give your goaltender a break, give your defenders a break, and see if you can get on that score sheet. Here's a little spin move side of the net. That was Maddie Quest, and that hit the side of the net. Now let's see what the call is here.
Spinning, that's a good strike.
That was a nice spin move. I don't know if she hit the defender coming to. Yeah, I think she did. Yeah, so Armstrong's going to get the ball.
Yeah, and that's one of those player out of control. You've got to control your stick.
Yeah.
There comes Armstrong back the other way, and a charge all the way down the field. Is Maggie Hansen going to try and go coast to coast? Let's see. She's got it in mind, and she does.
I'm
oh, no, not Maggie Hansen. That was Simasek who went coast to coast there.
By
Adriana
gosh.
Simasek went coast to coast.
Now,
she showed some great speed.
So you look at that smile on her face. You don't think Indeed doesn't like scoring a goal, Steve? Oh, my gosh, look at that. That's when she had enough breath left just to fire this ball off. She went end-to-end almost.
And she gets a goal, and that's number 10 for Armstrong in this one. 12:47 to go in the first half, but that was impressive. From the angle on the far side of the field, I couldn't pick up the number. I thought it was Maggie Hansen, but it was Simasak. And a long run there. And
she finally stopped smiling. I think it's going to come back here pretty quickly, but nice play, a really nice play by her. And, you know, that's the other part of this, too, now with Armstrong. Okay, we know our 3 people can score. Now, we got to lead. Let's see who else we can get into the parade. Maybe we can open up some scoring opportunities, and then that will carry on to the next few games as they move through their schedule.
Haley Hansen gets it over to Maggie Hansen, and she's going to head down behind the net. Nice feed in front, and we've got a hit up high, and a player goes down. And going down to the turf is Lizzie Van Heest, who is cutting toward the net.
That could have been a yellow card right there. But you can see it coming through, and you can see that elbow get across, but they didn't call a yellow card on it. They just gave a free position.
Yeah, Manning up high, and let's see what Van Heest does. She skips it in on the goaltender. That gets away. She gets it back. Van Heest took that shot up high. And now they get it out to Mia Hansen. Down low. Here's Hack. That's blocked by the goaltender. Nice save there.
Back in your face, that's Alexis Olsen.
Yeah, she rejects one there. That's got to make her feel pretty good for the moment. And here we go the other way with Manning. Manning's going to carry it over the center of the field and try and find some room. Good move to the inside. And now she's going to try and get the Knights set up as they try and get anything going down. 10-0. This is Burbank. Burbank gets it into the middle. Nice pass inside. And getting the goal there for the Irondale Knights, India Charles. And the Knights are on the scoreboard.
Well, India Charles, her second leading scorer so far this year, come back from last year. That'll be her 4th goal of the year. 12th point, but nice pass inside there. Charles comes out from back and gets open and finds the seam in between the 2 defenders and goes low to the right. Nice high-low shot into the corner.
That goal comes at 11:07 here and half number 1. And there's still a long time to go. They're down 10-1, but if they can right the ship, and it's been so important, Dan, to win the face-off because Armstrong's flat out dominated that category.
Yeah, absolutely. I was watching the game this weekend with North Carolina and Syracuse. North Carolina had them down by 13 goals. They lost.
Wow.
They lost to Syracuse based on the fact that they got some turnovers, but they started winning faceoffs. When Syracuse started scoring, it made all the difference in the world. So maybe now, let's see what happens.
All right, Charles comes out of there with it for Irondale. They're down 10-1. Still plenty of time in half number 1, and they carry it up the field, getting it ahead here. For Armstrong is Sydney Oswald, and we've got a stoppage. And it's going to be Burbank. Burbank's going to have a chance. She just fires one at the goal and gets a goal. Well, she skipped it by the goaltender for Armstrong, Maddie Koss. And just like that, it's 10-2.
I just like the force of this. You think she was determined to put that ball in the net?
Yeah, she ripped it.
She just wound up on that bad boy. Watch this now. Wham! Lets a cannon go. Just a beautiful. Oh, look at that. That is so hard to do, to get that bounce and come up right under the top crossbar. And it's virtually impossible for a goaltender to make that save. All right, so a couple good things going here. Avery Burbank and then India Charles kind of getting them on the board. That's good. Let's see if they can build on that.
And out of the all-important face-off. So 2 quick goals. Goals coming under a minute apart. Here's Charles again, and she wins it. She'll come out of there, and she's going to be aggressive. She's a big girl and gets another goal just like that. Wins her faceoff, comes down the field, rips it by the goaltender, and that's tough, the way she's changing plane and skipping it in there.
Yeah, changed hands really well. Slight change of direction just to give her a little bit of advantage on the defenders as she's coming down. Good pickup here, and just she had her head up, but she was moving toward defenders. Nice little move there, and then bang, gets it going, takes some momentum. She has some running, and just buries it again. A high-low shot. Got the bounce down, or coming down, and beat Koss.
Yeah, and I think when you get a player like Charles who kind of took over and in a way has kind of put the Irondale Knights on her back here, and now all of a sudden it's 10-3, still Still a tough hill to climb, but 3 goals in a row helps quite a bit. Let's see what Armstrong does. Coming back the other way, here's Haley Hansen. And Haley Hansen's going to charge in, give it up. Mayula Shemlinsu. And now off on the left. Here's Van Hees going down. The ball is down, and here comes Irondale back the other way. So they play a little D, and now they've got an opportunity to make it 4 in a row. Let's see what the Knights do as they work toward the middle of the field. They're being very aggressive. Now they get it out. And trying to back her way in is Burbank. She's turned away. They get it further outside. And now right back to the middle, and it skips away from Quest. And Quest scoops it up and is going to go to the far side. Watching her there is Quinn for Armstrong. And now it's Quest. Tries to spin out of it. Pretty good defense there by Armstrong, Dan.
Well, Quest got a little problem. She can't switch hands, unfortunately. She has to stay on her right side. If you can switch hands, you can really put the defense at a disadvantage. But she made the right play and got rid of it, and she didn't get herself in trouble.
Now behind the net. This is Charles. And Charles, big, strong kid, has the ball go down, and she's going to hang on to it. That foul is going to go against Armstrong, and it looked like Citron.
Yeah, stick on directly on the arm. Okay, let's see what she does with this now, yeah.
Charles has 2 of the 3 goals for Irondale. 8:45 and counting. She's going to give it up behind the net, and they're going to set up a play here. Oh, Charles could have got it right back. Oh, a little give and go there would have been beautiful. Here's Quest. She charges in, and that's going to be a charge. She charged into the defender there, Dan.
Established position, like I said, and there you go. And again, she couldn't change hands. Could go to her left side, which would have made that transition a lot easier. And then she ran right into her, and again, established position, basketball defense, so to speak. Armstrong gets the ball.
All right, here comes Armstrong. Boy, good defensive play there. Maybe a little too aggressive for Irondale. Emily Manning poked it away.
I think it's going to be Irondale ball here. The Armstrong player dropped it, and the Armstrong player, Irondale was getting it, and the Armstrong player got aggressive with her stick, and yeah, they're going to get it back.
All right, so here they go. 3 in a row for them, 10-3, as half number 1 winds down in a very pleasant evening at Armstrong tonight. Thank you so much for joining us on CCX. See what the Knights can do. They get it to Charles behind the net. She fumbled it for a moment, got it back, and now she's going to charge. Now flip it out in front. That one's batted in. How about that play? Is that going to count? I think it is.
Is that Quest or Burbank?
I think it's Burbank who knocked it out of the air and just kind of slapped it at the goal and got it to go. It's going to count. Charles to Burbank.
That's been the count. Just coming through right here, and she tries to lob a pass inside and got a little overhead, and Burbank stepped up and just tapped her in.
Boy, that was about as pretty a goal and as unusual a goal as you're going to see. And you could tell Maddie Koss wasn't sure what to do on that one.
You know what? I'll tell you what. I just like the way Burbank is being aggressive. She is just not. Okay, so what? We're down 10. I'm going after it. And she has. We saw that on the one shot where she put everything she had in. And she really just decided, I'm going to have that ball one way or the other in that last play.
That was really a good play. So an impressive run here. Irondale scored 4 in a row. First goal comes at 11:07. The fourth goal in this string comes at 7:29. So they've been on a tear. And here comes Charles again. Charles off the draw. They better try and slow her down. She gets bumped, and she's going to hang on to it there and have a good scoring opportunity. Because the defenders really didn't have position. We'll see what they call, but I don't think they were set.
She went for the gap in between the defenders. They even had established position. She went to the open area there, and they just both kind of creased her. And as they say, you can't do that.
Senior India Charles, couple of goals and an assist in this run. That skips by the net. And it looks like Irondale's going to hang on, and they will. They had the player closest to the end line. And let's see what they're able to do here. The Irondale Knights, Megan Like. Like comes out of there. Like makes a move out to the middle of the field, and she's going to hand it off. Nice little shovel pass there to Cron. Now further down to Charles. I've really been impressed. Charles is a big, strong kid and isn't afraid to take it in there.
And this is their leading scorer, Megan Light. She's got 11 points. She's got 7 goals, and we've heard not a peep out of her so far tonight. If she wakes up, we could have a little interesting thing going on here.
6:10 to go. Here's Lake over on the right side. She's going to get a shot. She goes in and scores. Nice pass, or I should say a nice shot from the side. She just went in, beat the goaltender, Maddie Koss, and that's 5 in a row for Irondale.
Well, Steve, I think the match has been ignited here. Yeah.
And really, it's come off winning faceoffs. They've been able to move the ball a little bit better and hang on to the ball. And at this point in time, you've got to give a lot of the credit to India Charles because I think everyone's followed her lead.
Yeah, she got it ignited and got it going. And then I think Burbank's effort was huge. But, they got a couple turnovers on defense now for, the first 10 minutes of this game, they had no turnovers defensively. And now they're starting to battle back. So we'll see. They're halfway there.
Charles against Shamlin Suk. And let's see. And now Armstrong gets the ball. Let's see if they can stem the tide. They've given up 5 in a row. Certainly been a game around. Well, let's see what they do. And they lose the ball. And coming back the other way is Burbank. Burbank loses a handle. And now Armstrong picks it up. Shamlin Suk with it. He's going to charge in. Nice move into the middle. She gets in all alone and scores her second of the game. Boy, that was all Shamlin Suk there.
All right, we just talked about changing hands, right? Yep. Going from your left side, right side to your left side. Watch Shamlin Suk as she comes in on this goal. She just does it perfectly, and she does it in flow with her body to keep balance. All right, here we go. Going to make the turn. Now she's on her right hand. Okay, coming through. Nice rotation on it. She's going to make the change. Switches hands. Comes back. Bang. Puts it away. And if you're a natural righty, that lefty throw is not easy. Oh, beautifully picked shot.
Yeah, great job by our crew here on the CUCX. And that was a thing of beauty and exactly what Armstrong needed. They had given up 5 in a row. Now it's 11-5. Still 5:34 to go in the half. But this game has really picked up in intensity, and Irondale now in the mix. And down by 6, don't count them out. It's still early.
We've seen it happen before. Lacrosse, that's what I love about this sport. You ain't down until you're dead.
And here's Charles coming out of there. Got bumped. Ball still down. Picks it up on the run. Let's see what India Charles does. She's got room. Nice fake to the middle. Gives it up on her left, but it's stolen away for the moment by Armstrong. And I don't know who was down there defending on that play. I couldn't catch a number, but a good job.
Well,
by Simasek, looked like. No, maybe it was Whiteneck came in there. One of them.
Looks like Kylie Hussman kicked the ball. I think that's what caused the turnover in the middle of that scrum. But good defense by the Falcons.
Whiteneck coming back the other way on the far side of the field, gets it ahead. And let's see if we can get Olivia Hecht involved. Hecht gets it ahead quickly. Here's Maggie Hansen. Hansen in on the left side, powers her way in front, and a goal! How about that? And it's been a while for Maggie Hansen, but she's got her 4th of the game.
I think she had to rest and recover a little bit after the start of the game for her, Steve. Jeepers. Boy, I'll tell you what, just really nice back in your face with Armstrong. Boy, they were a little bit on their heels here, and they got it back here. Jim Lusek got him off the board here with a great move down in the zone, and Hansen coming back and getting, was that her 4th goal, I believe?
Yep, her 4th goal of the game.
Yep.
And a beautiful assist as they moved the ball beautifully up the sideline, got Irondale on their heels, and gave Maggie Hansen plenty of room. And let's see if we can go in the huddle right now. And Armstrong head coach Caitlin Bishop as she talks to the girls.
We have to be very careful about shooting space, okay? They're calling every single time that we're not on the ball. So it's usually that second defender that's kind of getting trapped in that dead zone. Just be mindful of where the ball is. So you do need to be on your girl, but you also need to have your hips open your ball, okay? Second of all, on draw controls, they've obviously changed who's taking the draw. It's now number 22. So on this next draw, Haley, I'm going to have you try to take it and just switch it up, see what happens. And then I want the 2 on the back side this side. I also want one of our attackers down here in the D zone so you can come out and defend once there's possession. so you can step out and defend from this side. Okay?
All right, one of the things
All right.
we heard, Dan, was Caitlin Bishop talk about how they changed up the face-off, and that really changed this game for a moment. India Charles stepped into the face-off circle and really got some momentum for Irondale, and she called that out and said, we probably got to do a little bit better job there.
Yeah. Well, when you look at the difference between India Charles and Jim Lusek, the size-wise, just strength-wise, Charles is going to win that one every time. And, you know, Wendy France here, I think she's really pleased with the way the last 6-7 minutes have gone. She's seen something she wanted to as far as offensive flow and moving the ball and holding on to it. Then a couple breakdowns on defense. So this is a good point for her to take a timeout, just settle the kids down again and remind them what was successful and what isn't, okay? And so we'll see what happens here as they come out for the last 43 of the half here.
So it's been a game of runs. 10 goals for Armstrong to start the game. First goal coming 27 seconds in, and then it was a 5-goal run for Irondale, and now 2 in a row for Armstrong. 12-5 is where we stand. And now the sun. That's going to be a factor for these girls looking into the sun on the far side of the field, so be aware of that. I would assume we're going to see some more loose balls here because of the sun right now. It is really a tough angle right now. I'm not going to complain about the sun, Dan. Don't get me wrong. No. I'm good with it, but for the girls, it's going to be a challenge here at the end of the half. And then ultimately, that sun will dip down below, and then we should have no problem whatsoever in half number 2. But it could be tricky here.
Irondale now has got to reestablish themselves for the last part of this half now. If they can put a couple more in and regain some momentum here, I think that'll bode well for them for the second half. Give them a little chance to rest. I mean, they only got 4 people on their bench, whereas Armstrong's got 6, so not many people are going to sit down and get a rest.
India Charles and Haley Hansen for Armstrong in there. Hansen ultimately controlled it, and here comes Armstrong the other way. And now we got to stop. And let's see what they call here. It looks like Irondale's going to hang on, and Avery Burbank, who's played very well for the Knights after a slow start, gets it over to Oswald. Oswald's going to carry ahead, give it up on the left, or try to anyway, and now the ball is down, and it's scooped up nicely on the fly there by Like. Like has a goal. Just 1 goal in the game. And if she heats up, Irondale could easily get back into this. Down by 7 at one point. They trailed 10-0. Here's Charles. Nice feed in front, and a save by the goaltender for Armstrong, Maddie Koss.
Boy, you think Maddie Koss needed that save? My gosh, she's just getting burned there for a while, but good save. That'll help her out. I bet you they had a little chat with her in between in that timeout.
And that was a great scoring opportunity there for Burbank. Here comes Shamlin-Suk. She carries it right down the middle, fires it at the goaltender. It hits the goalie and goes out of play. But Shamlin-Suk had a goal a moment ago, has a couple tonight for Armstrong, and she was very aggressive getting into the middle.
And for somebody her size to do that is, it's a good thing. But she's quick enough to do it.
All right, here comes Irondale the other way, and this is Burbank. Burbank's going to carry ahead. She's just going to hang on to it for now and finally flips it ahead. And carrying it now is Like. They're going to set up over on the side and go behind the net. And Irondale playing with a little more confidence right now. Pass in front, tough pass in front, but Armstrong is there defensively. And coming out of there is Simasek. She had that coast-to-coast goal, or almost coast-to-coast goal, and then she gets bumped down along the side. And Armstrong's going to hang on to it. A bump there by Charles. But
I was going to say, you don't think Charles isn't strong? Oh, my gosh. Leveled her.
But you'd probably take that every time if Charles is going to slow down the play there and not get a yellow card.
Yeah.
Here comes Maggie Hansen for Armstrong. She gets bumped off the play, and a good job by Irondale to stop the play. And now Armstrong's going to hang on, and Maggie Hansen's going to get it there. Well outside. She's going to need to give it up as she spins out of there and comes to the near side, and Haley Hansen. Hansen's going to go down to the goal line extended and put it behind the net. And it goes too far there for Olivia Heck. She couldn't hang on to it.
Sunlight.
Yeah, right into her eye.
Sunlight. There you go. You called it, Steve. By God, good call. That right in her eye. She couldn't even see where it was coming. the other thing, like Irondale's being aggressive here now. They're going to the, all right, so what? We get a little penalty and we have to stop, but they're stopping the momentum of Armstrong running the field. And then they got an opportunity for a turnover here, so hopefully, they can turn this around and see they're going to get the ball back again. So little things like that make all the difference in the world.
Lindsey McConnell with it over on the far side and gives it up. And here comes Irondale. Escobar with it. Escobar with a head of steam. Right down the middle of the field. Goes ahead to the left. That's Like. Like's going to try and run it down. He's going to get there. And now let's see what they do. They get it further out. This is Quest. Quest back down to Like. And now behind the net, here's the dangerous Charles. Charles turned away. Good double team over there by Armstrong. They knew exactly what to do, and that gets by Charles and goes out. And this is going to be, I believe, Armstrong's ball. Yeah.
I think that was another Sun situation, too, there, Steve. I think she kind of lost it, didn't reach her stick out far enough. Was kind of surprised.
And here comes Armstrong the other way as they get it ahead on the move. Here's Van Heest. Van Heest loses a handle and then battles back. And now it's Irondale with it. And we got a battle along the sideline over there, and they finally whistle it down, and they're going to let Irondale hang on to it. Just under a minute to go now in the first half. 12-5. This would be a big spot for Irondale to get a goal and climb a little bit closer, and a big spot for our Armstrong to get a stop. Here's Like. She tries to come to the middle. In traffic. Throws it at the net. It goes wide. And Charles is going to get to the end line first, and they still have an opportunity.
Oh, they're really trying to get Like going here. That's 3 times they've tried to get the ball into her.
Nice pass, and that's blocked away at the side of the net there by Koss. Nice pass inside. Now the ball is down. There's a battle, and it goes in on the goaltender, and Maddie Koss makes the save. She's going to hang on, flip it way out to the right. It's picked off by Irondale, and now they fight in the far corner with 15 to go. It doesn't look like they're going to get anywhere near the net before the end of the half. And now they kind of battle with the ball down on the ground. And here comes Irondale. Will they get to the front? No, we've got a whistle, but they're going to get a shot here.
They're going to get a free position on this one, yep.
And it looks like Burbank's going to get it there, so we've got officially 2 seconds on the clock.
Uh-oh.
And let's see what Burbank's able to do. Burbank's probably not going to be able to give it up. No. She throws it at the net. And that misses everything, and we're at the end of the half, Dan.
Well, good start for the Falcons. Looked like a dominating machine, but Irondale never gave up, started working on it, got themselves back in the game, and now I think they're playing pretty even Steven with these guys. So that's a good plus for the Irondale Knights. Now they got to figure out a way to get some more momentum and get ahead of the game.
All right, so Armstrong jumps out to a 10-0 lead. They now lead at 12-5 at the half. We're going to take a break, and, of course, we'll come back with the second half of play. Once again, Steve Thompson, Dan Ficken, here on a Wednesday night at Armstrong High School here on CCX.
They said a bottle was just a bottle. That no one would ever notice me. But I knew I could be more. That one day, I would make people smile.
The color in my garden keeps the pink in my cheeks. I was very independent and thought I could take care of myself. I fell and I had to have Meals on Wheels. They're my savior. My name is Lola Silvestri. America, let's do lunch.
Drop off a hot meal and say hello. Volunteer by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
We have 1.5 in the books. Armstrong leading Irondale 12-5. It is girls lacrosse on this Wednesday night here on CCX. Steve Thompson, Dan Ficken, and this has been a game of runs. It's funny how it works. Armstrong, 10 goals to start the game, but then Irondale battled back with 5, and then Armstrong finished with 2. And one of the players that really took over early on was Maggie Hansen. She was outstanding. Good move to the net, and then a feed there, a beautiful feed from Olivia Heck. And she was able to beat the goaltender for Irondale, Lexi Olson, who had a tough start to the game. But you got to give her credit. And then a nice feed there and a quick release by Olivia Heck. She's so dangerous and gets rid of the ball so quickly. Here's Heck again in from the left side, makes a nice move to the middle and beats the goaltender again. And that quick release as she pulls the trigger on another goal. She had 3 goals early in the game, 4 total in the half. And of course, Maggie Hansen had 4 as well. Here's another Maggie Hansen goal as she just kind of came right around the horn and was able to beat the goaltender. And here's Adriana Simasek goes almost coast to coast, and you can see the joy on her face there, Dan. She was happy, and you get a little double fist pump right here. She loved every minute of that. But you got to give Irondale credit. They came back, and India Charles was outstanding as she charged down the field and really stepped into the face-off circle and gave them a huge lift. And here she is coming over from the side. Nice feed into the middle, and batting it in was Avery Burbank. You don't see that very much in this game, but Burbank went up high. And then Miula Shimlasuk with a nice goal coming in from the side and beating the Irondale goaltender. We stand 12-5 at the half.
Well, good comeback by Irondale. You know, you and I were kind of thinking, shut the door, boy, it's going to be a runaway. But, you know, they battled back, and there you go. Coach Franz, nice job. Way to keep your kids in the game. I think she called some key timeouts here to get the kids settled down, let them refocus and get into the flow. So, good play by them. Armstrong came back, reestablished, got a couple more goals. But right now, I mean, Irondale, as you and I talked, they're about 4 good face-offs from really making this a really close game. And we've seen the ability now that they can operate their offense and put the ball in the net. And Armstrong now has got to be aware that, you know, this isn't the Irondale team that started the game. This is the Irondale team that's put 5 goals up on you now. So be aware. Play your game. Stay focused. This ain't going to be no runaway. And don't make mistakes. So this game is crucial for both these teams, too. It's a very important game.
Yeah, and I would assume India Charles is going to go back into that face-off circle and try and keep the momentum. She was just flat out outstanding in that run, a couple of goals and an assist for Irondale in that one. And really was a key. And for Armstrong trying to protect the lead, you don't want to go into a shell, do you, Dan?
No, you do not. Be aggressive. This is where Shimalisuk did a really nice job there after they had 5 goals scored on him. She said, the heck with this action. I'm going to change this fast. She made that great move, very aggressive move, got in and got Armstrong off the cuff again and back on the board.
So here we go, half number 2. Thanks for joining us on this Wednesday night here on the CCX. Steve Thompson, Dan Ficken joining you. The weather's been delightful. We had a few raindrops early. I know you were down talking to the coaches. Oh, boy, here we go. But it never really came, and we had the sun out for a while, and now it doesn't look like visibility is going to be an issue here as we start half number 2. It was an issue at times at the end of half number 1. So the goaltenders are set. We're just about ready to go, and Shimalisek and Charles exchange pleasantries. They're chatting. And sportsmanship is such a big part of this sport. And I've become a lacrosse fan in short order. You know, once upon a time I didn't know anything about it, but I really love this sport, and it's a lot of fun. And you can tell the kids love to play the game.
Yeah, they really do. It's an exciting all-action game. There isn't a lot of standing around, and you know, really it goes to soccer players and hockey players, and it's an appealing sport.
And here comes Irondale, all important, gain control for the moment. Now it's finally picked up by Armstrong, and here come the Falcons the other way. This is Annie Cole. And she's going to carry it all the way down the field and gets bumped right there at the top of the arc. The ball is down, and now we've got a whistle, and it's going to be Irondale ball.
So Lolly Escobar there made a nice defensive play. Established position, got her stick in good position, and Watch her now. If she gets a chance to run, she had a little bit of a motor in that first half. We watched her make a nice run.
Here's Sydney Oswald carrying it over the center of the field along the near side. Watch very closely there by Simasek. Steps around her, and now picking it up is Burbank. Burbank gives it up in the wing. This is Oswald. Oswald will carry it behind the net and give it up to Megan Lake. Lake goes right in front. Nice pass, a little too far. Ball is down on the field, and it's picked up on the run by Armstrong. Here come the Falcons. Haley Hansen the other way. Haley Hansen's got a head of steam. Gets it ahead beautifully into the scoring zone, and then over the net, right in front, was Olivia Heck. Great scoring opportunity, but you got to give the goaltender Olsen a lot of credit.
Gosh, did I just see that? First of all, the defender gets away from Olivia Heck. She gets it perfectly, and she missed the net.
Right over the top.
Oh, my gosh. I'll tell you what, I'll bet you another paycheck, Steve. We will not see her miss the net again the rest of the game. Oh,
yeah,
my gosh.
And you got to give Lexi Olsen a little credit because she had the stick up in the right spot. And that probably directed Olivia Heck, who had 4 goals in the first half. And, of course, her and Maggie Hansen led the Falcons. Here comes the Falcons the other way. Shalamsa with it. She gets it in, bounces it in, and sneaks by the goaltender. Oh, it fooled Lexi Olsen almost like a knuckleball as it came in, bounced right in front of her, and beat her.
A little too active on the body there. She was expecting Gemma Linsick to really rip it, and it just came out of her stick and bounced, and you can see her moving. Nice takeaway, too, by her. Look at that. Nice change. Brings it right back. And it just kind of bounces funny, and she caught Olsen by mistake. And, you know, I mean, I think it went a little sideways on her, Steve, after talking about the turf being a bounce true. It might have gone a little sideways.
Yeah, it came in funny. It wasn't real fast, and I think that's what fooled her. It just took a weird hop. And Shalamsuk has 3 goals in the game. And, of course, as we pointed out a moment ago, the leading scorers, Olivia Heck with 4, Maggie Hansen with 4. And now it's 13-5, 22:49 to play here in this game. And winning a face-off, and it's been big. And here's Shalamsuk again. Gets it ahead on the right. Falcons trying to extend that lead, their big lead, 10-0 early in this game. Now behind the net, Maggie Hansen. Hansen trying to extend her goal total. Now they get it off on the left, a little bit further out. White neck. And now carrying it into the middle and getting bumped. And I think Armstrong's going to hang on to it here. Mia Hansen had a good opportunity. And Armstrong is going to hang on to it, and Hansen's going to have it here.
Olsen looks a little uncomfortable in net right now. She's got to try to get her stick balanced a little bit more. She's having a tough time going opposite side. There we go.
And Hansen beats her.
Yeah, she saw that. Olsen had a little trouble going to her right with that basket. And Hansen getting a nice goal there. You know, this half, it really has been the story of Jem Linsuk. I mean, she's stepped into the face-off circle where she was getting beat in the first half, and she ain't getting beat no more. And India Charles is not exactly a small fry in there compared to her. I mean, she's really battled back against somebody who's much stronger and bigger than her.
And I would assume Caitlin Bishop maybe challenged her and said, we need to do it better on these face-offs, because they had scored 5 in a row and had a ton of momentum. Now 2 goals at the end of the half, 2 goals to start this half, and Armstrong's extended the lead to 14-5. So once again, the Falcons on the brink, blowing it wide open again as Armstrong felt like they were trying to climb back in. And here we go again.
Yeah.
Annie Cole with it. Cole. She's got some speed. She gets into the middle. She throws it at the goaltender. It hit the post, and the goalie made the save. Lexi Olsen. I think that one hit the post, Dan.
I think it did too. And she stayed on top of it the way it sure didn't roll in. That's a great breakout play. I like that.
Just set it down in the crease, and Burbank picks it up. And now Burbank over the center of the field. She continues to hang on to it. Gets it ahead there, and this is Emma Beckman. Now Like on the wing. Goes to the middle too far. And it could be a turnover as a couple of players converge, and it's picked up nicely there by Irondale. And now they get it back to the middle, and this is Cron. Cron loses the handle, and now it's Armstrong back the other way with momentum, leading 14-5. We approach 20 minutes to play in this game on this Wednesday night. Nice feed ahead there. Here's Van Heest. Van Heest bumped right in the net. Still hangs on, gets it back. Now the ball is down. Van Heest gets it back. Boy, she stuck with that beautifully. And now comes to the middle. Here's Mia Hansen. Hansen throws it at the net. Nice save there by Olsen. She went down low and blocked that one. But Irondale hangs on. Or now Irondale does get possession. They get it to the goaltender. Let's see what they do here. Olsen lobs it out ahead. Ball is down. It's loosed, and it's Like with it. And Like finally picks it up. Megan Like coming in, the leading scorer for the Knights. Now on the run here is Beckman. Beckman goes in, goes across. Nice feed there for Huseman. But Huseman couldn't pull the trigger. She retrieves behind the net. And now they'll set up Charles. So dangerous behind the net. Tries to power her way out in front. It's turned away. Good job by the Falcons. Now Like behind the net. Like and Charles. Like tries to spin around in front. Throws it at the net. But an easy save there for Maddie Koss. She was all over it.
Made a nice play there, boy. She was all over it. She was zoned in on Charles real good. But look at the nice play here. Big shot. And it did hit the post there, and she covered to make sure, and then we come back, and a nice save by Olsen there. That has to boost her confidence right there.
Here comes Armstrong the other way. Haley Hansen. Hansen in the middle. Nice feed to the right. And going in for the easy goal. And I think that's going to go to Maggie Hansen. And if it is, it's her 5th of the game.
I be thinking so. Normally a very comfortable right-hander, went to her lefty again. You know, we saw her come around the net a few times on her right hand and blow it away. She can shoot equally well with her left hand here. See the nice pass there. She switches hands, goes to her left, and goes into the upper corner.
A beautiful assist for Haley Hansen. Maggie Hansen with the goal. And now it's 15-5, and Armstrong right back to that 10-goal lead. So a nightmare start in half number 1 for Irondale, and dare I say a nightmare start in half number 2, Dan.
Yeah, please go ahead. I mean, that's realistic. It is. You know, and Charles got to fight back a little bit now here in this face-off. She's got to start making some wins for them. See, they lost it again, and boy, I'll tell you what. Coach Bishop really called it, didn't she? She said these face-offs, you know, we got to take charge. And once they do, and they get cranking in their offense, which is running pretty smooth right now, Steve, they're starting to put this game away.
All right, here comes Armstrong with it, and some confidence now. They've scored 3 in a row to start the half, lead at 15-5, 18:30 and counting. And Olivia Heck been held down a little bit. Boy, nice play there by Irondale to get it away. Trying to battle over there for Armstrong is Van Heest. She can't get it back. And now the ball comes to midfield ahead. Now Charles. Charles on the run and has it. As she sprints along the near sideline, and I'd be surprised if Charles doesn't take it right at. She tries to get around a defender, tries to get in front, and does. Can't pull the trigger, though. Good defense by Armstrong. And, Dan, that's the key, to be able to keep that defender in front.
Oh, yeah. And the slides came. They wouldn't let her get a good look. And, you know, Charles was smart, too. She didn't try to let it go or force it. Tried to pass it off to give somebody else an opportunity. But, and I think that's what Coach France is looking for them. That's kind of working the flow to an offense here. Don't always try to force things.
Beckman behind the net for Irondale. They try to get it in front. Koss in goal for Armstrong. And Koss gets a stick on it. Nice play there as a player came from behind the net and threw it right on that. And now it's going to go Armstrong's way.
Yeah. Stick moved the stick up toward the body, a check upwards, which is illegal. They always have to be down and away from the body.
Nice play by Maddie Koss. That was a good save for the Falcons, and they continue their momentum up by 10. They're going to try and extend their big lead in the game. They led 10-0 early, and now there's a battle with the ball down, and They're going to give it back to Irondale. This is a big spot for Irondale. There's still time. Down by 10. It's a very tall order, but I think they'd like to get some good feelings like they had for a run here in half number 1. This is Beckman. Beckman, goal line extended, spins out of there, trying to back her way in, and that goes further behind the net there. As the Knights try and get it outside and get it in front. And charging in there and getting a shot off is Manning. Manning had it knocked away, but Irondale hangs on, and right now Charles is way outside. I would think at some point they're going to try and find Charles here and see if she can ignite this Knights team. And now this one skips by everyone, and it's picked up by Armstrong's Haley Hansen. Hansen's going to come along the near side, now go to the middle of the field. That's a nice pass there.
Yes, good pickup. Very good pickup on a bounce.
Lauren Price doing a good job, gets it ahead, and Maggie Hansen, 5 goals to lead the Knights. She'll get it ahead, and on the charge here come the Knights. This is Cole. Cole goes behind the net, and it skips out of play, but Van Heest is back there, and she'll inbound, and Armstrong's going to hang on there in really good shape right now. And
yeah, might not be a bad idea right now just to kind of, don't be too aggressive now. Kind of work a little bit of clock here on this. I know we want to be aggressive. We don't want to fall into a shell. But this might be a good time here in the second half, 15 minutes off. Let's run 2-3 minutes off.
Van Heest and Heck. Van Heest comes out of there, tries to fight her way to the middle. She got bumped, and I think she's going to get a good look right here.
Yeah.
A little too aggressive by Escobar, and an opportunity for Van Heest. Van Heest spins to the middle and scores. Boy, nice move to her right, and a great shot beats the goaltender there for Irondale, Lexi Olsen. And Armstrong extends the lead again.
At first I thought that was a mistake when she cut back to the right there. She'd just keep going right at it, but she made a nice move here, just a quick move, and loaded up her right hand and got the shot off.
And the key was under control when she pulled the trigger on the shot. That's the biggest thing, because many times in traffic like that, you'll see a goal called off.
Yeah, absolutely. See Coach Bishop talking to Van Heest there. I think that's what she's talking about. But the Falcons got it rolling here, and after the rough start they've had with the schedule they've had, they kind of deserve this one, and they're playing very well. I mean, I'm not taking nothing away from Irondale. I mean, I think Armstrong is really showing the kind of team they are. I mean, they got 3 of the 4 top returners back. They got their both goaltenders back. This is better than an 0-5 team. You just got to look at it and say there's something wrong here. Well, it's the quality of who they play.
And they gain control again. Let's see what they're able to do. Riley Carpentier with it. Carpentier. And now let's see what Maggie Hansen, 5 goals in the game to lead Armstrong, 4 for Olivia Heck, and 3 for Schlemsen. And let's see if they're able to get set up again and get a good look. Haley Hansen with it, way out on the left. Comes further out. Vanessa Whitenack. And now out on top. And Cole. Nice move to the middle. She skips it in on the goaltender, and a save by Olsen. Ball is down inside. Heck can't get to it. And now I got to stop. Let's see what happens here. Is Armstrong going to get a good look, or is Irondale going to get the ball? And I think Irondale's going to get
the ball. Yeah.
Good save.
Yeah, got it on her leg pad. I think kind of took it off the post there. She deflected it, but, nice. Oh, nice move.
An Irondale player went down, pass ahead, skips by the intended receiver, Oswald. And now it's picked up by Armstrong, Citron. And Citron's going to carry it over the center of the field, work up the far side. She's being watched there. Citron goes down, ball goes out of play, and then ultimately Irondale's going to get it 16-5. That's a big lead in the game for the Falcons. Once again, they led 10-0. Now they've scored 6 in a row from the end of the first here into half number 2.
I think she just loses her footing here in that last move. Yeah, loses her balance.
I thought at first we might see a yellow, the first yellow of the night, but not the case. Good call. Great replay by our crew here at CCX. Here's Quest. Quest has trouble and loses a handle. And Armstrong's going to hang on. Maggie Hansen went down heavily. For Armstrong coming up next Monday, they're at Elk River Rogers Zimmerman, and next Wednesday host Osseo Park Center here at Armstrong High School.
And Armstrong buries it again. Number 13, Anna Caldwell. Puts the ball away for the, I say that once a game. When I say puck once a game in lacrosse, doggone it. But nice play, nice shot. But, these next 2 games, Elk River Zimmerman and Osseo Park Center, these are some big games for them to really start gaining some momentum. They're both ahead of Armstrong right now. And I'll tell you what, Osseo Park Center is a test right now. They're 4-1. And have a good strong program here and have beaten some pretty good teams here. So that might be the game they're pointing to right now to really get them off the hump here.
So once again, the goal to Ann Caldwell, a senior midfielder for Robbinsdale Armstrong. So she gets her first goal of the game by my count. And the scoring run now is 7 in a row for Armstrong. Dating back to the first half, and Armstrong has it back, leading at 17-5. We'll talk about Irondale's upcoming schedule here in conference in a moment. Nice move into the middle there. Whitenack. And now she's going to get a good look and an opportunity to get a goal here. She gets it off on the left. She's going to charge in and elect to give it up at some point. Hangs on to it. Now comes to the left. Here's Haley Hansen. Hansen goes further down low. And this is Maggie Hansen. Hansen makes that move to the middle. You know what she has in her mind?
Yeah, they're waiting for the Jets to go on, so she's using her advantage there. But work a little clock here now.
Whitenack with it. And now they go across. Lauren Price. Now back to Whitenack. Goes behind the net. Gets bumped. Loses a handle, and that is a shove. And Armstrong is going to get it as the clock continues to move as we close in on 9 to go in this one on a Wednesday night. Boy, and you can tell that the girls love playing in this weather. This is just ideal weather to be out there in the field running around. This is good stuff.
Absolutely.
Can't beat that. Ball is down. Who can come out of there and control? And trying to get a handle on it for Irondale there is Manning. And now we got to stop. And Irondale's ultimately going to control here. And they're just trying to get back on the score sheet. Other than that 5-goal burst, Dan, they just haven't been able to do anything here in half number 2.
They've been pretty much clamped down on it. Of course, halftime might have been the one that broke the back, because that gave Coach Bishop a little chance to make some adjustments, which they have, and they're playing much better defense. But I think the biggest thing we saw is they're winning faceoffs again and taking control of it, and that's how they built this lead and gotten 5 more goals already.
All right, here's Burbank. Burbank had a good half. She had a couple of goals for the Knights. Burbank charges in, rips a shot, misses the net, skips over the end line. But Irondale's going to hang on, and I think they'd just like to break that scoring drought at this point and get something going again. They had really good momentum for a period of time there, and it was led by India Charles, but Armstrong's been able to clamp down on Charles quite a bit here. This is Oswald. Oswald gives it up to Like. Like hasn't been able to find room. Here's Burbank, left wide open, and now he got to stop. And I think Burbank's going to get a easy look here at a goal.
Free position. They got in front of the net, closing her off and made an illegal move in the middle there.
Let's see if Burbank can get her third of the game here for the Knights. And a tough spot for Maddie Koss, the goaltender. And that one misses the net wide. We got another stop. They're going to reset. Clock continues to move. And Another opportunity here for Avery Burbank, a junior, good-looking player. She's definitely had a solid game and was a big part of that Irondale run in half number 1. She skips one in, and it's blocked by Koss. Caught part of her stick and goes out. I think Irondale's going to hang on to it again.
You know, and the other thing we haven't really mentioned a whole lot is Maddie Koss has had a heck of a second half. She's made some big saves, at least 4 or 5 of them, easily.
That one just skips a little short and went high over the cage. And here's Burbank again trying to get at it. And now it's picked up by Irondale as they control. Like tries to come in front. She's turned away. And now here's Burbank right in front. Had it knocked away. Nice defensive play there by Maddie Porter for Armstrong. That may ultimately be a foul on Armstrong. And we might see Burbank get another shot at a goal. She's had a lot of good looks here. Let's see.
But here's the problem that Burbank's got. She can't switch hands. She cannot switch hands. She stayed on the right side. She got it when the basket was facing the other way and the ball came out. Now, sticks got up high in her face, but...
There's Burbank, skips another one in, and that gets by Koss. She got a piece of it. And another good job, Dan. You talked about it. She's really had a good half.
Yeah.
And when they've had looks, she's been able to make saves.
Yeah. And I think one of the other changes in the half that's happened, watch this play now. Gets a good shot. I think...
Hit her foot?
Hit her foot, yeah. Yeah, I mean, she's gotten something in the way of this half that she wasn't doing in the first half, and that's got to build her confidence up.
All right, here comes Irondale as they try and get set up. And right now they're happy to just restore a little order in this one after the Falcon barrage to start the half. Here's Burbank trying to get inside. Can't find any room there. Goes back out to the middle. And here's Like. Like steps in, but she's turned to the outside by Whitenack. Good job there. Like carries it down to the goal line extended, now behind the net, and Burbank. They go out to the middle, and it's grabbed there, a turnover. Citron gets it ahead to the far side, and trying to run it down over there is Armstrong, and they pick it up. And here come the Falcons the other way, leading at 17-5. Good play there. Looks like Ellie Johnson's out there, if I got the number right. Now they come to the near side. Olivia Heck, strong first half. 4 goals in the first half, but she's been held off the score sheet. I think Irondale's tried to take her away.
They have. She hasn't been quite as aggressive, though, either, this half. She really hasn't been stepping out to receive the ball the way she was before. And, I think maybe they were trying to get some other kids into the flow and get some goals in them so they could, kind of open up for the rest of the season here. But
Maggie Hansen. Yeah.
She ain't slowed down.
No, Maggie Hansen being hounded there by Anna Cheney for Irondale. Hansen won't give it up, and now finally comes across. Nice feed there. Dara Citron loses a handle, but she's going to get it back. She had the stick bump there, and I would almost positive Armstrong would hang on to it at this point in time, and indeed they do. Citron, a senior.
We'll see how much cutting now that the Falcons do across the crease area and stuff like that, then see if they're kind of playing back a little bit, try to move the ball rather than themselves and cut.
Citron gets bumped again. And I don't think we've seen a yellow in this game tonight,
No, we haven't. We haven't at all. That really, it hasn't been merited, really, to be honest with you. There hasn't been any real rough play at all.
Clock continues to move, closing in on 3 to go in the game. All Armstrong. Here's Citron, shot blocked away by the goaltender Olsen. Nice save there up high. Ball is still loose. Armstrong trying to control, and it's picked up, and skipping it by the side of the net for Armstrong there is Lauren Price. Lauren Price stepped into the faceoff circle and won a draw in this half that led to an Armstrong goal. So in her opportunity tonight has done a good job. Give credit to Lauren Price, a junior who's made the most of her opportunity tonight and has had a shot there. Now it's Heck behind the net. Olivia Heck gets it in front, trying to feed Citron. Her shot misses the net, wide left. And it's nice to see Olivia Heck try and set up one of her teammates and get a goal.
Well, if you notice, Dara Citron plays defense. Note where she's playing right now.
Yeah, right.
She's a midi, and she's playing she's a D, and she's playing attack right now. They're trying to get her a goal. And I think this is kind of, you've been a senior for us. You're a senior this year. We're going to do something to get you off the schneid here. I think that's pretty dang cool. I like that.
Next Monday, by the way, Irondale hosts Anoka, and then next Wednesday they'll be at Centennial. So Irondale's got the one win, and a conference win over Grand Rapids Greenway 15-1. Otherwise, they're 0 for the conference. And Armstrong on the brink of getting their first win in the very tough Northwest Suburban. And as Dan talked about earlier on, really tough schedule to start the conference season. Blaine and Champlain Park atop the league. And we saw how good the Rebels are. I saw them on Monday night. They're a very good team and have a dynamic duo up front. Two outstanding attackers for Champlain Park.
Yeah. Very strong program over the past few years for the Armstrong Falcons. I think the Osseo Park Center game on May 10th, and then the big one at Maple Grove on May 15th. Those are the two big ones remaining on their schedule. And if they can make a little hay here, that'll set up good for the section. So that'll, hopefully they'll gain some momentum here now. In order to start, they're going to play some of the lower teams in the conference, but then they still get a couple top teams up there and see what they do against them now that they've had this experience.
Riley Carpentier gets it behind the net. Olivia Heck tries to come out of there and gets bumped down. Ran into Escobar. Lolly Escobar. And it's going to be an opportunity for Olivia Heck as she tries to feed it to the side. And trying to make a move is Lauren Price. Price gets in front. An opportunity blocked by the goaltender. Oh, golden opportunity there for Lauren Price to get a goal in this game, and it was blocked beautifully by Lexi Olsen, the Knights goaltender.
She did a real nice job. She came out and got aggressive and just took away all the angle and any space at all that to shoot at.
All right, one more run here for Irondale, and it's scooped up by the Falcons. Adriana Simasek, of course, she went almost coast to coast to get a goal. Gets it ahead here to Heck, and Heck got bumped. You could see right at the 30-yard line marker for football. You can't do that in the girls' game, and now it's going to be Olivia Heck. That's going to do it. Time runs out, and the Robbinsdale Armstrong Falcons score 10 goals to start the game and go on to defeat the Irondale Knights 17-5. Irondale had that 5-goal burst in the first half, but then Armstrong finishes this game on a very impressive 7-goal run, 2 to end the half, and then 5 unanswered here in the second half, and get their first win of the year, and I'm sure a lot of relief for the Armstrong Falcons to get that win.
Yeah, I think Coach Bishop, as you see her on the screen right now, is very happy with, this is the team she thought she'd see now. A little rough start, playing some of the better teams in the conference. She felt she should have at least one win. But anyway, this is the momentum builder, hopefully, to get them rolling. Irondale, they had a nice little run there. They got into some offensive momentum. I mean, they can build on that. It's just been, I think they ran into a team at the wrong time. I think Falcons are ready to really turn it on and show something, and that's what happened tonight.
All right, upcoming for Armstrong, Monday at Elk River, Roger Zimmerman, and then home against Osseo Park Center next Wednesday night. And as we pointed out for Irondale, they will go home to take on Anoka next Monday night, and then they'll travel to Centennial on Wednesday the 10th. Great job by our crew. Outstanding replays all night. A lot of beautiful pictures on what turned out to be a lovely early May evening at Robbinsdale Armstrong High School tonight. It's been fun to meet you, Dan. Great job. You certainly helped me keep it out of the ditch tonight.
Nice work, Steve. Great working with you.
Yeah, Dan Ficken, of course, are an analyst tonight. And, of course, my name is Steve Thompson. It's been a lot of fun. Big thanks to John Jacobson for inviting me on the call tonight. Once again, Armstrong defeats Irondale 17-5 in girls lacrosse.